Continuing from the previous one, we see the uh, John Dewey's contrast to Popper and Heck. Dewey actually advocates for thorough and planned institutional change. He believes that piecewise reform. So piecewise reform can also be said as ad hoc because we already stated it is like something step by step, which means ad hoc. For a lasting social change, will that be sufficient, step by step or ad hoc? And also, he calls for inclusive planning for social reform, emphasizing a long-term social goal. So today's focus is on education, science, and well-designed government policy are crucial for social improvement. What is the key difference? Hake and Popper, they are supporting spontaneous and incremental step-by-step reform with limited centralized control, whereas Dewey believes in conscious planned reform through a more comprehensive and proactive approach. The nature of scientific knowledge in social engineering. As engineers, we have to know this is very important. So, what is Popper's realistic perspective? Natural science creates theories about unobservable realities and tests them via controlled experiments. So, social science, according to Popper, produces empirical laws which are tested through social practice, not controlled environment. Whereas Dewey's pragmatic view is completely different and it states that both natural and social sciences are guided processes of change, and social science combines theory and empirical laws and allows testing in broader environment, not limited to practice. Okay? So large scale changes can address larger problems like economic depressions or disease epidemics. So, what is contrasting science and social engineering? We will see the difference in opinion between Popper versus Dewey. Popper prefers small piecewise changes in social engineering, rejecting abstract theories in social science, whereas Dewey supports wider experimentation and large scale social change when necessary, integrating theory and practical knowledge. So, what are the criticisms of scientific knowledge in social engineering? Here we have the ideology of Popper versus Kuhn. Popper values bold conjectures and critical testing in science, but recommends conservative, gradual action in social engineering. Then we see Robert Ackerman. He criticizes the isolation of scientific knowledge from practical concerns leading to social conservatism. And James Scott argues that sustainable solutions arise from local practical knowledge rather than scientific theories. So, what are the limits of small scale social engineering? Proper small scale engineering believes in piecewise changes to address social issues, and Scott's view suggests even small scale engineering faces limitations, especially when overlooking larger long term issues. Impact of social issues. Popper's influence, according to Popper's influence, it guides a school of social sciences aiming to design effective social policy. Charles Lyndon's work, example, The Intelligence of Democracy, it reflects the impact of Popper and Dewey in incremental social engineering. So, top down versus bottom up approach. Top down is planned, rule governed. Bottom up is unplanned, evolutionary. So these methods inform diverse exploration within social science and policy design. So what is the question of human intelligence? This is very important because the debate about designing social systems is linked to human intelligence and its limitations. Automated intelligent systems face similar debates over rule-based versus evolutionary methods. Here in planned societies mirror the dispute between Popper and Marxists regarding true nature of social engineering. We will move to the next topic, which is the most important topic. What is social ethics? We can define social ethics as a reflection or a systematic reflection on moral dimensions of social structures, systems, and communities. It is a branch of applied ethics addressing the social problems. Key issues in social ethics is we can see the common issues. Distribution of economic goods. Is it equally distributed? Research on human subjects. Is it allowed? Is it permitted? Okay. Animal rights with euthanasia, abortion, discrimination, affirmative action, pornography, crime, punishment, war, and peace. The principal tasks of social ethicists is to examine the social condition, identify issues based on moral norms, analyze actions, consider actions to change problematic condition, and prescribed solution, that is, give or propose solutions based on analytics and ethical reasoning. There are two approaches to social ethics: institutional focus, which focuses on policies and practices of social institutions like corporations or governments, and contextual focus, which focuses on how individual morality is shaped by social context and vice versa. So, what is the purpose of this social ethics? Collection of values and behaviors aimed at minimizing harm to society and its members, and it reflects the ethical frameworks of culture and people group. So, why is social ethics important? Because principles and values guiding human behavior is required in social interactions, and it focuses on morality, the moral values, justice, fairness, and equality. What are the key roles of social ethics? It shapes interactions between individuals and societies, promotes fairness and justice in society. It helps in preventing discrimination, inequality, and injustice, and it creates a more harmonious and inclusive society. What are the examples of social ethics? Respecting the rights and dignity of all individuals, including those, that is diverse group. We have to respect the individuality and rights of all diverse groups, and we have to always act with integrity and honesty in all our interactions at every uh, with everyone. And it has to promote equality and fairness, especially in workplace, education, and justice system. And the most important is environmental responsibility, protecting the planet not for ourselves but for the future generations. We can suggest some ways to promote social ethics. What are they? Empathy is the most underrated value. We have to understand and appreciate others' perspective and feelings, listen to them, acknowledge their emotion, offer support. We have to respect people, respect the environment, respect everyone, and treat them with kindness, consideration, value their individuality, and embrace diverse opinions so that we can work collaboratively. Integrity. What is integrity? Be transparent and honest in all your dealings. Admit mistakes and correct even when no one notices. And to support social justice. Advocate for equal access to education, healthcare, and employment. Organize community efforts to address homelessness. Be environmentally responsible. So, reduce environmental impact by conserving resources and supporting eco friendly initiatives. Example is to use reusable products, sustainable businesses, conserve energy, and to engage in civil discourse. Have respectful, constructive conversation even when you are not agreeing or you don't understand others' perspectives. This will be to encourage, to allow others to have a respectful dialogue, listen to opposite views, and seek common ground. Volunteer, okay, get involved in your community by supporting causes that promote social ethics, for like poverty reduction, environmental conservation, or human rights causes. So, what happens if we do not follow the social ethics? Relationships will be damaged. It will erode trust and strain connection with others, harm to others. It will cause both emotional and psychological distress through discrimination or harassment. It might sometimes lead to legal consequences like imprisonment, fines, etc. Reputation will be damaged, impacts personal and professional standing, hindering trust and opportunity. And most of all, it will cause harm to the society. So, what are the aspects of social ethics or moralities that we see in everyday life? Honesty and integrity, compassion and empathy, respect for others, fairness and justice, responsibility and accountability, caring for the environment, loyalty and trustworthiness, humility and modesty, courage, generosity and altruism, patience and tolerance, non-violence and conflict resolution.